Hello everybody, Doug here from 2 Plus Stuff, just hanging out and doing a wee bit of painting this fine, glorious day. What I'm going to do is pop out the chat and let me know if the music is bothering you or anything like that. Let's see. Cool, we're getting all set up here. Stream's looking good. Let me know if there's anything that comes up. I got the chat right there so I can actually see it. And today what I have going on is I have some, as you haven't probably guessed from the title, I have some Elder Scrolls Call to Arms, which is the miniatures game that is set in the Elder Scrolls universe. It's not technically Skyrim. We're going to call it Skyrim-ish, where a lot of the box art and stuff like that is based on Skyrim things, but it's not inherently. I think I'm missing a guy. Who am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see if I can go find him. Yeah, weird. I seem to be missing Hadvar. Probably put him somewhere that's right in front of me. Hey Doug, glad your voice is better. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Adam Ruffleman, I don't know what you mean. Let's see, there's the Dragonborn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Weird, I'll be right back. Ooh, okay. He was hiding behind a building. I busted everything out and did a one-player game just for funsies last night to get more comfortable with the system. It was pretty cool. I actually really do like their solo play rules. They did a great job. Bioput. Hey Doug, glad to catch at least the beginning of one of these. Hey, yeah. Always good to see a friend. Nice double video with Doug. Just got done watching your Holy Havoc. Oh yeah, I had more to say. That video got so stinking long. I was like feeling my voice go out. Spezia, thank you so much, buddy. You're so kind. So kind. So right now we're just working in some brighter red tones because I want the browns and the metals to be super drab on these guys, because in the unmodded base game they tend to be a bit on the dark side. But I want the reds to really pop. What are y'all working on today? If anything at all. If you're just chilling and vibing, that's rad too. I was gonna say, once I reach a point where everything just needs to dry for a bit, I might boot up some Star Wars Battlefront, which seems to be my game obsession as of late. Space Orcs here. Nice, nice. Andy, what am I painting? These are miniatures from the Elder Scrolls Call to Arms miniatures game. And just a heads up in case any Modifius employees are watching, the minute you guys give me anything from Morrowind, I will shut down and have an entire dedicated week of Morrowind stuff. Because that is truly one of my favorite games. Let's see. New Nurgle trailer for Total Warhammer 3. No, I have not. I I don't know why. For some reason, YouTube thinks I mean, I don't like playing it, Warhammer Total War, but YouTube seems to think that, like, I despise any content. I don't see any of these trailers. They don't show up for me. Even though literally everything else about my feed is like, Warhammer. There's just one blind spot, and its name is Total War. Let's see. You Imperials. Okay, Bioflight, I'll see you later, buddy. Wargamer Willie, hey man, how are you? Thank you so much for the kind words. Florian, hey Doug, I'm getting into Conquest, thank you. Thanks to you, and wanted to ask if I need the core book to learn more about the factions and their lore. That's sort of a hard question. So, no. The core book doesn't really have a whole lot of lore. They have a... what's the book called? It's like Legends and something else, where it does give some backstory, but Corvus Belli didn't really put a singular book with all the lore. The last, I guess you could say, lore book that they had is actually the same information that's available from free on their website. If you go to the lore page and you look at the various sub-factions and those, like, you know, paragraph and a half, like, big bits of information, the actual book is just all of that put together. Maybe in a slightly smarter way. So, I mean, as far as, like, raw information, you don't need anything like that. Christopher, packing up my painting station for a moving out. Oh, well, best of luck to you. Just look forward to my favorite part, which is unpacking the painting station, and everything gets clean and nice and organized, and you're like, what's that? I need a brown paint? What kind of brown paint? And you can just, like, boja, pull out whatever color you need on the fly because you know where it all is. And then in 2 weeks, you'll be kicking yourself because you're like, I just did all of this. Nice. Let's see. How much of the game have you played so far? Are you talking about Call to Arms, Brent? Because if so, I've played 3 games or so. Mostly with my lovely wife. She's not super into gaming. Last night, I really took the solo play mode out for a big run. I did a few missions from the Bleak Falls Barrow. Oop. Okay, gotta take the wash off of my other guy. So that's quite a bit of fun. I will say the game is an immense amount of setup, but once it starts, it's very, very smooth. That's how I would probably describe it. Like, the rulebook, it is probably the worst written rulebook I've ever seen in terms of, like, the rules are great. It's a super fun game. But the order in which everything is laid out is very confusing. So once you, like, stop and kind of get your quest decks, your treasure deck, and the event deck together, honestly, that's the biggest pain that they don't really do a great job of explaining. But once that's done, like, I have them all in little card sleeves now, and I can just start a game pretty quickly anytime. Let's see, so we're going to grab our Dragonborn here. He's got the AK Interactive Streaking Grime on him. That was suggested to me by Vince Ventrella of Warhammer Weekly fame. All I want is a game. In games is smoother and less bookkeeping than... Oh, yeah. I would say there is a lot less bookkeeping, if that is a concern, which is super valid, by the way. because games have just gotten absurd with the amount of stuff to keep track of for no real reason. I totally get that. I will say, it's like I said, it's a lot of setup, but the actual game, when you're playing it, there's very little to keep track of in terms of, the same way we do bookkeeping for like Warhammer, where there's all different, supplements and all that kind of stuff out and about. Really just everything revolves around how do you score victory points and how much stuff you killing lately. Which is like, yes, I can get behind asking how many things I've killed. That's fun. Sweet. That's how we got our Dragonborn. We got a brown paint, and we'll start. I just gotta do the shields and the wood on these guys. Wargamer Willie, oh buddy, thank you so much. Can't wait to finish work and watch this. Have a wonderful day. Oh buddy, thank you so much. You're too kind to me. Too kind. If I could suggest a topic, you absolutely can. So rules of the stream are, if you throw something in the tip jar, you get to control the topic. The new Stormcasts are amazing, aren't they? Had the chariots adding the speed needed, the storm hosts making Redeemers 3 models. I have not tried the new chariot, full disclosure. I want to. I actually got one. Got it from Jack over at Rerolling Ones, and I'm excited to put it together because it just looks like an incredible model. Yeah, I mean, I think they're good. The best glow up that I've seen so far in Warhammer history was definitely those Paladors. I love them. I proxied a set in a game recently just because I was like, I don't know if I want to paint more of them. I painted them before with a previous project, and I was like, they were kind of a pain. I don't know if I want to do that again. And I was like, oh man, they are super rad. They ended up being super rad. Hello, I kit bashed guardsmen into Tau soldiers for kill team. Also, please don't tell the Emperor. You got it. Secret safe. Snitches get exterminatus. Hold on one second. This guy has the tiniest of these little panels. Let me just get his and I will take another gander at the chat. Okay. Thank you for the advice. I am myself building rock-cut Troggoths for my Gits army. Love these goobers. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, the Troggoth models are pretty dope. Can you, I just because I can't possibly know every single battle tome, can you still reasonably field a Troggoth army? I don't know what happened to their points or, how that works with some of their, what do you call it, core battalions and that kind of thing. My assumption was yes, but I don't know. Have you played Blood Bowl at all? A friend and I ventured to try something different, and we're absolutely loving it. So I played a lot of the last kind of Blood Bowl. I thoroughly enjoyed it, the video game as well. I haven't tried the new one because didn't they give him an extra stat for like catching or something like that? I haven't tried that one, but I'm waiting because there's a local store here, not too far from me, called Critical Hit Games. And one of the guys who runs that is actually like a national Blood Bowl champion kind of guy. Like he has a podcast. I can't remember what it's called. And he's like a figure in that community. And so he keeps telling me, like, we have the best Blood Bowl leagues ever. You're going to frickin' lose your mind. And he's been saying that since I moved here last year. But, I mean, obviously he's a store owner. Between COVID restrictions and stuff like that, he's got a lot on his plate. So, to answer your question, no, I haven't, but I'm anxiously awaiting to. So, yeah. Oh, here's the weird song where she just kind of wails for about 30 seconds. We're going to skip that. Kill team is pretty simplified. Interesting. The first kill team was too complex. Kill team 2 might be different. Yes. If you enjoy Warcry, my understanding is that you will enjoy the new kill team. I can't guarantee it, of course, but that is my understanding, is that it was made in such a way that those two kind of have the same complexity level. Or at least similar in terms of bookkeeping, army management, that kind of stuff. Have you been playing Call to Arms single player or multiplayer? Just single player. I mean, it is still single player. I guess I've been playing co-op with my wife, so it's still the single player rules, but it's the co-ops, you know, kind of stuff. We each have a dude. But I do have a buddy, Rob locally, who was interested in it as well. And so I told him, like, hey, don't buy anything. I got a whole bunch of stuff with like multiple factions. Like, let's do a demo here so you don't jump overboard and buy minis for a game you don't like. I'll be honest, it's my kind of war game where there's just a couple of models that all can contribute and do very different things. And there's story elements and all these kinds of things. Like, it's a big deal to me. I like it quite a bit. And replayability is very high, even if you're doing solo mode. Because if you don't know, essentially the way that the solo mode acts is whenever you activate an enemy model, you roll a die and that has its own actions. But the actions are dictated not just by what unit you rolled, but also like their personality, so to speak. So some enemies are cautious, which means they're gonna hunt for cover and try to make it difficult to be hurt, making it harder for you to kill them. And some are aggressive, meaning they're gonna just bolt at you like madmen. And those kinds of features I'm just a sucker for. Because you'll never have the same game twice. I mean, I think when I did my demo of the new Elder Scrolls game, I put that on the channel a while ago. It seems like the Modiphius guys are really keen on the idea of, we want you to play this game and never have the same game twice, which is cool. Let's see. Augusto, what was your favorite part of Broken Realms? I'm a big fan from Argentina. Oh, hey, buddy. Shout out to Argentina. My favorite part of the Broken Realms, as far as the books go, it was definitely Marathi. Because I'll be honest, GW called my bluff. I didn't think they were actually going to let her ever achieve deity status. I thought that was always going to be like a thing in the background that like nobody else knew about, and you know, maybe whenever N times 2 the ending happens, maybe she would get it then, but that would be about it. But yeah, it's like they actually did it. Like, oh, huh, cool. I didn't know that was an option. I didn't know satisfying conclusions to personal story arcs were an option in a Warhammer game. She struck out. She achieved her dreams. Hashtag boss girl. I love it. Let's see. Florian, feel nothing but Troggoths as battle line, thanks to Medanko Trogboss. Works great. Just 3 Troggoths are still super scary in melee. Oh yeah, I bet. Let's see. Warcry is the best thing GW ever put out. I tend to agree, but it's also like very forgotten by them sometimes, it feels like. Like, I don't expect the game to have like a constant, you know, stream of stuff, nor would I want that. I think it can go quite a bit of time without, you know, big updates. But maybe a little nod here and there. Because right now it just seems to be like they release a big set and then things kind of go quiet. And then they release a big set and then things kind of go quiet. It's like, well, you know, or we could try just, you know, casual support over time. Maybe. No? Okay, cool. Bye. Because, you know, it's one of those things like, I love the new terrain. They didn't send me one, and that's totally fine. And I don't want to spend the money on one myself. I have plenty of terrain, so it's like, I'll wait for the warbands to come out on their own. Let's see. Bioflight. I played those new spider cultists in Warcry, and they wiped the floor with my Canite Shadow Stalkers. Oh no! Let's see. Katie and Fleshtown. Alright. I love the Skaven in the video game Blood Bowl. Nobody expects you to actually be able to play normal football. Yeah. Oh man, it's so good. The Skaven are a fun team. I like the Skaven with at least one Rat Ogre, because it's just, you gotta have that muscle. There's gotta be something, some anchor on the field. Brent, Doug, what are your plans for Thanksgiving? Cooking, day drinking? Neither. So we're hanging out with family. They live about 2 hours away from us. And so we're going to be driving in the morning. We have some extended family on my in-laws side coming in. But we'll probably be there until, I don't know, 5 or 6, and then head home. Not really drinking much. We have some recovering alcoholics and stuff in the family, so, you know, try to be sensitive to that. But that's why we have a stash at home. Which, of course, doesn't help. If you say it like that, it makes it sound like I am also an alcoholic, but you know what I mean. It's interesting. My wife's family, her parents have split, and so her dad's side is very, I guess, rambunctious. They like to party, the day drinking thing, all that kind of stuff. My mother-in-law's side is like, came from quiet Midwest pastor's wife, kind of like, that's what my grandmother-in-law is. And so they are much more tame, we'll say. I think tame is probably a good word. Rocco, your boy, what's up, my dude? I am just chilling. Okay. Let's see. Lord Billy, now that Morathi has achieved Apotheosis, what's her big motivation for her now? I think it's just literally kicking every male dick inside the mortal realms, if I'm not gonna lie to you. I think she just really hates all the people who stepped on her before she had her power. You know, she's also somewhat paranoid, so I'm sure there are both real and perceived slights that she will make others pay for. So that's what I'd imagine. But honestly, the spotlight hasn't been on her too much since the Broken Realm stuff. There was the thing where her and the Celestant Prime got into a, we'll say, a heated debate. Because basically he wanted justice, some kind of retribution for her taking over the city of Sigmar that she did. And she was just like, nah. You know that city you liked or didn't care about enough to save? Couldn't care less about giving it back to you. The Empire of Morathi Kane is her next goal. She isn't going to sit and accept Sigmar. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I think her own personal hubris prevents her from just, I got what I wanted, now it's time to be chill. It's like, fair enough, I guess. Some nice painting. I myself am writing for a part of my setting focused on crazy feral subset of dwarves who worship kaiju as gods. I'm also a swarm lord from the Discord server. Oh, hey! What up? That's red. I cannot paint without sub-assemblies. Oh no, I can't paint with them. I hate sub-assemblies. Oh, they're the bane. You know, I love these models. They have fantastic detail, but they have thoroughly buried that face inside of the helmet. Clipped part of the helmet now, so when you look at her, she kind of looks like she's like the toxic Avenger. She's got a weird melty face going on. Not sure how many of y'all get that reference, but whatever. Personal hobby update. I built a huge IKEA desk for hobbying, and all I've gotten done is playing GameCube. What are you playing on GameCube? I can't remember the name of it, but there was a Marvel game where It's sort of like an isometric thing, and you get your characters and you have to like unlock abilities and stuff. I can't think of the name of it. I'm sure someone will correct me, but that was the only game I ever played on GameCube, and I did like it quite a bit. I think it was was it X-Men specific? I don't think so. Malarian showing up with Umbraneth this edition is going to put Marathi into the spotlight again. That's fair. Likely would. I imagine if there's one person she doesn't want getting too sure of themselves, it's probably her boy. Quitting Sub-assemblies is what finally broke me of spending hours painting parts of the model nobody can see. Viridian Forge, thanks for all the fantastic content. Your lore videos are absolutely the best in the world. Thank you so much, buddy. I'm currently working on my Cruel Boys with some fun customizations and basing. Nice. I think they did my boy Hadvar a little dirty. He's got like 6 chins. Okay. For those of you who played Skyrim, did you side with the rebels or the Imperials? And I'm going to put this out there. Which did you side with when you played the game? And is there one ideologically that you agree with more? For me, I think the idea of playing as rebels is more fun. However, I do agree that technically speaking, the Imperials are correct. And I hope that you still subscribe to the channel. Brent Terry, Mario Superstar Baseball. Gotta win that pennant. Okay, I grab the silver and just touch up that one character's head. Stormcloaks when I played the game. Honestly, both of them are screwed up though. Yeah, the Imperials. The rebels were just the Confederacy. Imperials, since the rebels came across as racist nationalists. That is highly accurate. I probably just noticed it. I'm maybe a little more sensitive to it just because my character, I always play as a Khajiit. They're always my favorite. Ever since Morrowind. Sweet. So, let me grab, I have my Stormcloaks here. And I've realized lately, you can build like a 100 point list with just a box. So like they're all super playable right out of the set. However, if you want any option for customization, buying 2 of these boxes to get you some basic warriors is like kind of a must. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's no different than like the Warcry boxes, right? You can build a list with it, but if you want choices cost money. That's DLC right there. I start with Stormcloaks and I'll die as Stormcloak. That's fair. Imperials at first, and have come around to the idea that Stormcloak victory is better for humanity in general. So the way that I kind of think about it, so obviously if you have played Skyrim, you enter into the world having the High King was just killed by Ulfric Stormcloak, and the way that he did it was he did a trial by combat, as is the old ways of the Nords. Now my problem is, I think that that is a cultural part of their heritage that should have been respected. That is to say, if that's how they settle disputes, is by challenging each other, then that is exactly what should have happened. However, I do think it should have been public. Instead of in the middle of the night, he used his voice to kill, and then he ran away on horseback, and it's like, that to me is what takes it out of the realm of like tradition into like crime. Don't get me wrong, I love crime. Khajiit player, of course. But that's why I don't really have a lot of sympathy. Rebels, because I was still in my F the man phase. Looking back, they're really the dicks. Yeah, there's some parts of it, you know, where it's just like, and that's one thing I've always loved about Skyrim, is it just feels very different region to region. If you go to certain towns, when they favor one over the other, you get a different vibe from the people there. But at the end of the day, I think there's just way too many other races in the game spread out amongst the entire setting to have the stance of like Nords first kind of a thing. Ugh. Don't get me wrong, I love crime. Yep. Let's see. The only thing I don't like about the Empire, and I've thought this multiple times, or the Imperials, I should say, when it comes to the Stormcloak Rebellion, is sometimes when you're walking around an Imperial soldier, they'll say, it's like, been months since my sword has tasted the blood of a Stormcloak or something like that. It's like, well, that's not helping. Oh, man. Dark Elves and Nords are great. Kind of wish they could. Struggles to a point. Yep. Yeah, so it's, I don't know. I always thought it was a cool little struggle. I actually just finished doing the Civil War thing in my personal game playthrough of Skyrim. If you have not played it recently, I recommend you to check it out, just because the 10th anniversary edition that they just dropped, I think it costs like $20, and it is a mountain of content. And I'm not even getting paid by Bethesda to say that. I switched over to supporting Stormcloaks when I realized the whole without the Empire, humans are doomed thing is pretty much completely wrong. Fair. I think, you know, I'm not going to say right or wrong. That's the whole point of the player game. Hopefully the next one is set somewhere fun. Let's see. I love the fishing, guys. It's great. If anything, they make things worse because of how deep Thalmor have infiltrated them. Da-da-da. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's going to be my next purchase here once I get these all done. But there is a Civil War campaign for Call to Arms, the game that these are for, which basically you can also use the Stormcloak models as like hold guards because they functionally have the same armor. But you basically use these dudes as your hold guards. You can paint them all the different colors and use them to enact epic battles from the game, which I think is cool. I'm a sucker. Fun fact, because of how canon works in the Elder Scrolls, the war technically doesn't end. The canon ending is season unending. The Dominion is coming. I'm down with it, you know, I mean, that's fine. One of my favorite things on YouTube, there's a channel called Oxhorn. He does Fallout 70, you know, Fallout lore. He does not much 76, but other kinds of Fallout. All the way 1 through 4 is really his prime. But he does these recap videos, which is like, what is the canonical ending of, you know, whatever Fallout game is in question? And basically looks at the sequels and is like, well, for that to have happened, we know that X decision was the canonical one. It's fun to be able to like, did I do the heroic canonical thing? Most of the time it's yes. It's generally whatever the good guy ending is, with a few question marks regarding some side quest companions and that kind of thing. I started a new character from the Dunmer House Sadris with a ton of mods. His mission is to destroy the Thieves Guild and enjoy his hobby of wishing. Oh, fishing, probably. I love it. I hope they manage to really convey the impending doom better in the next one. The world is really beset by crisis after crisis, but it never feels like that in game post-Morrowind. Post-Morrowind. Oh, you mean like Morrowind felt like there was a crisis, but the other ones are like, meh. Is that what you're saying? I just want to make sure. I hope, man. I'm gonna sound like such. I have boomer energy when it comes to Bethesda. I'm just like, man, Morrowind was their best freaking game. Oh well. Because it did my favorite thing that any Elder Scrolls game has done, which is basically after you complete your first mission, the character you receive orders from tells you like, hey, go get a job. Like, basically go explore the guilds, go explore the world, you know, like interact with stuff. Whereas I feel very much on rails when it comes to Oblivion and Skyrim, where it's like every mission is a pressing one that bleeds directly into the next. It's like, dude, when are we supposed to go explore this place? But, you know, I mean, part of that is their writing team having like hero fantasy type stuff where it's like everything is immediate, important, and depends on you. And it's like, well, that's cool when you reach like the late game stages and you know, things are supposed to happen and move and shake very quickly. But like, man, when you first boot up a game, like, give me a minute. Let's all just take a breather here, guys. Have you looked into the Tamriel Rebuilt mod for Morrowind? No, I have never successfully gotten Morrowind to run on my computer. And I don't know enough about anything to get it to work. I do have an old Xbox. Well, yeah, that I boot up every once in a while to play it on that. As I did when I was young. Lost pretty much most of my 8th grade playing Morrowind with my brother. Ah! Hey, greetings from Germany. Hope you're doing well. Painting Blackstone Fortress and expansion stuff. Late to the party, but hey, never stop. Yeah, man. Hope you are enjoying that. That's an incredible set of models right there, Blackstone Fortress. I haven't looked too much at the expansions because it 40k as a setting never really gripped me, but well, I should say Blackstone Fortress as a setting never gripped me, but I hope that you are loving it, man. Morrowind followed the Baldur's Gate story progression template. Early levels were punishing and mundane, and then you had to grow into hero status. Yes. Yep. I also like how it started with the idea that you are not the one, but you could become it. As opposed to the opening, like, 8 sentences of Oblivion are like, I saw you in a dream. It's destiny. And it's like, well, I'd like to feel less special, you know, for a moment and then grow into it and earn that mantle. What am I doing? I gotta dry brush first. But yeah, so I've been enjoying that quite a bit in the evenings. Been working on lore for Legacy of Atmos quite a bit lately. If you don't know what I'm talking about, me and a couple of guys are working on our own skirmish miniatures game with its own world and everything, and I could not be more excited. We're still kind of in a sort of beta right now for, or I guess it's even alpha, if that exists, for testing a few things, but I think within the next 2 weeks we're going to unlock the rules and stuff that we've been playing with for open beta, and hopefully folks join in and find it fun. I don't know why I went there. That was kind of a non sequitur. Sorry about that. Oh, man. Oh, I was thinking about achieving hero status, and yeah, I was thinking about the heroes of the game. That's all. I was working on a video earlier today. It's just been in my mind. Let's see. For me, my character that I'm playing right now in Elder Scrolls, Skyrim specifically, right now, to get my wife on board, I made a Khajiit character of our cat, Finn, and then the character in the game, his name is Phineas. And basically it gets my wife super into watching me play Skyrim because it's just our cat running around with a freaking huge sword, just And the only complaint that she has, and I think it's valid, is that when he uses dragon shouts, he no longer sounds like a Khajiit, meaning they only have one. They have a male and a female dragonborn voice, and that's about it. which is like, yeah, dude. I would have loved it if they made him like meow or something. Meow, 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 and it's just full surrender dove. Ah. I'm sure there's a mod for that somewhere. Someone, if they put Thomas the Tank Engine into Skyrim, I'm sure someone has made cat voice. I got a chance, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the newest Necromunda models that they put up on pre-order for Games Workshop, my goodness, those guys look sick. I love it. There's not even a Necromunda group around me. Although some folks are getting really into Battletech in a local scene, and I'm going to go on Saturday, hopefully, and learn a little bit more about the game. But I know there's a lot of nostalgia surrounding Battletech, and I unfortunately have missed all of that. I don't know what I was doing. Well, that's not true. I know what I was doing. I was in high school when that was super big, so you know, I was hitting on girls. Let's be honest. There's one joke that I love from what's the name of the show? Supernatural, where they were talking about all these different weird arcane magical things, and one of the characters is like, man, why didn't I know that? Oh, that's right, I was busy making love to a woman, and just kind of like threw that out there, and everyone's like, oh, all a bunch of nerds. Okay, so we got our Draugr skeletons. We got, where's my Dragonborn? Dragonborn needs time to dry still, so we'll put all of the Skyrim stuff away, or sorry, Elder Scrolls Call to Arms stuff away. One thing, if you are interested in playing Call to Arms, and I'm going to make a dedicated video kind of with my experiences, I'm going to be honest with you, make sure at least one of your characters has a baller weapon. I made the mistake of trying the single player mode, and so basically there's two types of cards or units in the game. There's characters, which is where you can customize their weapons and armor and all the stuff that sounds really cool about playing in an Elder Scrolls game. And then there are just followers, which is just, you have a guy, he has a preset weapon, shield, all that kind of stuff. And he can use actions and stuff as normal, but he is pretty limited in his, you know, choices that he can do things with. And so, highly recommend you make sure somebody has a baller weapon. I took a, what was she? She was a wizard with healing and, flame hands. You know, like just the basic flame spell. And turns out that doesn't do much against like a Draug Overlord or something. And she got punked pretty hard, as it turns out. Holy moly. Because although the followers, some of them are good, no one had a candle to hold up against the Draug Overlord. He just came in and just crush. So anyway, that's losing tips with Uncle Doug. Stay tuned for more. And we're going to, so now, in case you are curious what I have working on, because all of my Call to Arms stuff needs to dry, the texture pacing and that kind of stuff, I am now back to my Legacy of Atmos models, and I'm going to be super blunt with you. These are some of my favorite models ever. These are for the game that I am helping develop, and they are the Gyaramus, which is a low sentient steampunk mech, and then the Warsuit, which is basically a less ridiculous looking Baby Bjorn Grey Knight dude in a mech suit. I say less ridiculous because I think he looks better than the Grey Knight one, but that's an opinion, of course. I don't actually dislike the Grey Knight one. I just think the proportions they didn't quite nail it. You know, you ever seen those models where you're like, I like it. There's just like, man, if you just did blank, and blank could be anything. It's one of those for me. It's kind of also how I feel about the Santa sled of the Space Wolves. You're just like, it looks good, but it could have looked awesome if only X. And you can fill in X for whatever you want. Let's see. Doing well, Hugh. What's up, buddy? We are just chilling out. Are you working on anything hobby-wise? Some people had reported in what they're working on. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up the good old Warhammer's community site. Let's see if we can find anything interesting to chat about. Give me just a hot second. Let me just finish out with the base brown on this guy's wood panels. Let's see. Warhammer Community. What do we got? Apparently it's Dragon Week. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. I have done very little. Oh wow, they even changed the mouse cursor. That's kind of obnoxious. Okay. Hey, what's up, Matt? Just doing some hobbying and some chilling. Gelling like assorted felons. Just put my thumb directly, of course, into the wooden part there. And I'm trying to be careful. I accidentally, it was all me, man. I dropped this guy and broke one of his arms earlier, and I'm really hoping it stays together. Dubuque here, working on... Oh, Dubuque, Iowa? Right on! We should play a game sometime. Working on Bolt Boys. Bolt Boys, nice. We, in the Iowa City area, we don't have a dedicated... whatchamacallit? Really any kind of destruction armies. I'm getting my Savage Orcs back from Rerolling Ones Jack, just because basically he didn't care for the way that Savage Orcs got the treatment in the new book, and I'm like, well, I still love them. I'm the only person apparently on the internet who is like, I think they did good, and so he's like, okay, well then they can be your problem. So I'm getting those back, but mainly it's just to have a destruction faction locally. We have 2 vampire count players. I make up one of the Stormcast players. We have a guy named Joe who he owns Cruel Boys, but I know that he has Khorne stuff painted. And in the interest of just jumping into a Path to Glory League earlier rather than later, I believe he doesn't use them too much, which is fair. You know, if you want to jump in, you use what's ready. No sense in waiting and painting, especially if he's not... I don't know how fast he is at painting. I don't know. I haven't known him long enough. But, you know, if you're not the speediest, don't wait. Just jump in with what you got. Sounds good. I've been working near you in North Liberty. Yes. Yeah, I haven't gone there too much recently. I used to go there a lot. I used to play at the Geek City Game Store in North Liberty, but I don't know. They weren't my kind of folk, you know, a little cliquish, and I don't know. I just, you know, it's one of those things like this is gonna make me sound like such a frickin' diva, and understand it sounds very uncomfortable for me to say, but like I have enough fans. When I moved here, I want friends, and I think that is something pretty understandable by most adults in the hobby. Of just, there's no shortage of people that, you know, oh yeah, you should come hang out, and hey, you should record our game and put it on YouTube, because they want to be on YouTube without having to do any of the work of having a YouTube channel. And that's fine. But it's like, you know, when I'm just doing my own personal gaming, like, I want to hang out with friends, and I'm really glad I've met certain people. My buddy Rob, Jeremy, all the people I talk about in Path of Glory, Steve, you know, I talk about them because they're friends, not because they're fans. And it makes all the difference in the world. 2+ groupies. Yes. Let's see. Opinion on Warcry Red Harvest. Is it worth it? The terrain looks awesome, but do I need another big box? My honest opinion, much in the same way of, like, what's the other one? Catacombs. You get warbands, and you get some cool terrain that offers a unique gameplay experience. Okay, so there's nothing quite like the Red Harvest terrain, much in the same way as the Catacombs themselves. I think it is a better box than Catacombs, because for a similar price point, you're getting way more stuff, which is good. I think that was kind of the ultimate downfall of the Catacombs box. They could have just cut out the terrain half that was from the original set, dropped it to $85, and been a really slick product, but they didn't. When it comes to Red Harvest, I think they did a better job, for sure, no question there. I got a beat up old GW brush, we'll use that. I think it is a better product. My biggest thing is, when it gets to that like $200 price point, I have to like every single thing in that box. Like, it's not enough for me to be like, oh yeah, cool terrain. Like, I need to like the terrain. I need to like the armies. I need to like their studio schemes. I need to like, you know, the game designer's mother-in-law. If you're going to ask for that much money, oh Lord. And, you know, the truth is, I like the terrain. It looks really cool. I'd love to own some someday. But since I have no pressing need for it, I like both factions. Not die hard in love with either of them. It just, I was like, I'm okay with letting this one slip by me. So those are my honest thoughts. Again, the key there though is what you like, because again, if you love all the terrain and you love both factions that come in there and you want to play as them both, it's a no-brainer. It's a great way to get all three. It's hard to, when stuff gets to that kind of price point, it's really hard to say, is it a good value or not? Because, you know, a lot of times value is in the eye of the beholder. You know, I mean, I would say almost all the time it is. There are some exceptions, like, you know, like I mentioned with the Catacomb box, I think there was a way that could have been a really tight, slick, awesome product, and they just chose not to do it. But that's different than saying it's not worth the money. I'd say it's worth it. What? 2+ groupies. Oh, you're looking for a group name? Well, if I ever have a cheerleading squad in a t-shirt cannon, they're going to be the Toughets. And that could be male or female, do not care. That's just what they're called. That is the position of Toughet. As far as everyone else, I don't know, man. I really should have thought of that in my branding stage before I started a YouTube channel. Foolish fool, if only I had thought about being a success before. Maybe split it with a friend, 2/3 for one. I'll take the terrain. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's value in it. Like, I'm not telling you it's not a worthwhile box at all. I think there's some really cool stuff in there. It's just assessing how much of it you actually want and how much of that is dead weight, meaning, you know, I don't want this, but I want to resell it. Some people are super opposed to reselling things, like buying a product with the presupposition of reselling parts of it. I don't know why. I think that's totally fine. It's kind of what I do most of the time with 2-player sets. I'm like, yeah, I want this, but I don't want the other part. What's it going for on eBay? 30 bucks? Okay, cool. So let's just assume that this costs 30 bucks less because I'm going to go home, post it online. Toughet. I can get used to that. It spawns from a joke that I did, I believe it was with Jack a while ago, where we were talking about, like, what if I got a local news station to report on something I was doing, like an event or something, as if, I don't know if you guys, in the States we have these, abroad I don't know, but whenever a local radio station covers something, it's always just like the most dumb, benign thing ever. So it's like, we're here at the grand opening of the Sprint store in Nowhere, Iowa. And we've got the Toughets out here with the t-shirt cannon. A little air horn going, and yeah, that's us. Gotta spice up those cell phone sales. But, you know, you might ask yourself, well, why are they partying at a cell phone store? Doesn't matter. Promising myself I'm going to finish these 15 Liberators this feast weekend. Nice. I think I did 10 very, very quickly, but I also had a very basic scheme, so those are my Knights Excelsior ones. For me, what colors are you using? I'm curious. For me, essentially, I primed them with Wraithbone and then covered them all with Apothecary white, because it does great recess shading, as well as, I don't know, the warmth of Wraithbone really works well with it, because otherwise it'd be a little bit of a cold color. And then I just do some quick highlights with Ulthuan Gray and like a stark white. Matt, so I see you're not using a wet palette. I haven't made many streams. Curious about your preferences. I feel like almost everyone I talk to is drinking the red grass Kool-Aid. You know, I don't know why I don't like them. I don't know why. I'm going to be honest. Part of it is probably because people keep telling me I need to, and there's just this one little part of my brain that's like, shut up, you don't know me. You don't get to tell me how to hobby. But then, you know, I mean, yeah, we're all children at heart. That's my child part right there. But I don't know. It's, you know, it's kind of like, I guess there are some things I don't want to improve in life. I don't want to be a better painter. Straight up. No interest in it whatsoever. So if this works for me, it works for me. And people being like, well, you need to do this, just kind of reinforces that position. Actually, I want this to be silver because I'm going to have that spring be copper. You're not my paint, Mom. Exactly. That is exactly my mentality. And, you know, but it's not like I'm just opposed to learning new things. Like recently, Vince Vincello was kind enough to introduce me to the AK Interactive streaking grime stuff, which is like the perfect way to get some of that grim dark, you know, shading and stuff like that I love to do. It's absolutely a fantastic product, but it's like, it took me a second to be like, frickin' fine. I'll do the Vince Vincello method like everybody else. I say that as someone who absolutely adores him, and he's the coolest person ever. Oh, man. So I switched out for a smaller brush just to get more of these detail parts. It's a custom storm host called the Rememberers. The motto is, as Sigmar's soul fades away, we will forge lasting memory. Ooh. Nice. Sounds very metal, not gonna lie. But yes, that is my childish reason of why I don't use a paint palette. I don't know why. You know, it's just, I don't paint enough regularly. Like, the water dries out on me quite a bit. I have one. There's like one sitting within 3 feet of me. I bought it because everyone told me to. And then I was just like, I don't like using this. But I'm not pretentious enough to say, it's not part of my process. Let's see. Are you going to add that Founders exclusive Dweghome to your army? I love that guy so much. I probably won't, just because I'm saving money for the holidays coming up. I do have the last exclusive one, which, to be honest, I like a little bit more. I don't know have you seen that one, the older one, where it's I think it was called Eruption was the name of the piece. That is one of my favorite models. I kind of view it as a trophy because a trophy is not the right word, maybe like medal or something, but Parabellum was kind enough to send that to me. They were like, we give these away on special occasions, and they wanted to thank me for the lore videos. I think it's been fairly helpful for them, and it was just a really sweet gesture. They also sent me one of those bad boy T-Rexes that I need to get to building. Eruption was cool. I think the local shop has one. Nice. Eric Wilson, Battletech, ? Did you have a question regarding it? It's a game with robots. That's about all I know about it. Trying to hunt down one of the old Spire ones. Yeah, they're quite cool. That orc on the T-Rex is the type of model you see and you write a whole D&D campaign around it. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So I don't know if you guys have listened to it. I had the chance to interview one of the Parabellum guys. I did a video, I think it was like last week I put it up. And I was just, it's a great interview to listen to, even if you don't care about Conquest, just because I framed it as like, if I could talk to someone who like designs games, they didn't do a Kickstarter, or they built it all internally on their own. It's a really neat story. And I was just like, how do you come up with like unit rules? Like, holy Lord. And they had a great chat about that. His name's Leo over at Parabellum. Cool dude. But some of that stuff, it's just like, man, like, you say orcs on dinosaurs, and I understand the sales pitch. But, like, how do you turn that into an army? And you kind of just broke it down as far as, like, writing out what you want the backstory to be and finding ways to implement that rules-wise, and it was cool. I've got 2 Apex on my list for when the Wadroom army... Oh my gosh. Woo! The model that I am the most excited for is definitely if you have not seen it, the Helldrake. No, not Helldrake. What's it called? The Hellbringer, maybe? It's Hell something. The Dweghome thing that it's basically Mad Max meets fantasy. So you have a giant lizard, and then you have a platform on top with each side of the platform has a dwarf with a cannon. that's just firing like mad, and then in the center is a guy just like screaming and pointing forward as he drives the monster, basically. And the reason I call it Mad Max is it kind of looks like Mad Max Fury Road with the guitar riff playing guy on top of the weird construct that they built out of the trucks and the semis and that kind of thing. It's exactly what he is. Let's see. Love the interview. Oh, thank you so much. Let's see. Spezia. The story you posted, purest excellence. Imagine if the rememberers were there. That tragedy could have been prevented. That's the core of the grit my storm host. Interesting. Purest of excellence. Yes. Now I need to think about which story that was. Purest of excellence. Oh, yes. That's the one with the Knights Excelsior. Yes. I don't know why that took me so long. My goodness. I'm just not firing on all cylinders, apparently. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that was probably one of my favorite lore videos that I've done in a long time. Because sometimes, you know, some of those little side stories they put inside the battle tomes, like in the time, the chronology section or whatever, when they're trying to go through what this faction is like over history, kind of a deal. Some of them are really interesting, like that one, where it's like, this has huge implications for like a person's worldview, or we can glean information about, you know, how destructive it could be to be a Stormcast on your personal self, and all those kinds of great discussions. And then there's some where you're like, I got nothing. I have nothing to say about this story. It's self-contained, it's kind of bland, and it's just there. Because some of them are like, the Deepkin don't like this type of skeletal tribe. Like, okay, does that manifest in any way? Not really. Okay, cool, noted, well documented, thank you. I feel like that's what a lot of the earliest, not so much anymore, but the earliest Seraphon lore was. They showed up and stopped chaos because that is what they do. Were there any ramifications for this? Not really. Like, oh. Okay. Neat. Got me a Dweck Home Start Playing box with the Ardent KOA and Berserkers. Nice. That's awesome, Spezia. I'm glad you're digging that. That's so cool. Yeah, I struggle sometimes as a person who presents lore, because I personally find some things cool and other people are like, that's stupid. And, you know, so when it's stuff like losing your memory, right? The amnesia that slowly grows in Stormcast, you get people in the comments who are like, that's it? That's the only downside? That's fine. And you're like, no, you would not think that's fine if everything you were disintegrated. You know what I mean? Like, you're just not, I don't know. It's just not a concept that appeals to them, and it does to me. Maybe homebrew lore just kind of took over. Have my no, dude, you're good. You're good. You are doing just fine. I like the idea of the rememberers. Let me ask you this: what kind of color scheme you got? What color screams memory? I'm thinking hot pink, because you'll never forget seeing that Stormhost. Playing 4D chess at that point. What was the name of that custom Stormhost you played against? I don't remember, but I'll never forget the way it looked. Says the swath of dead opponents that you leave behind you. Gold, sapphire, and silver primarily. Nice. I've not seen anything in your Conquest lore videos that sounds remotely stupid. Aw, thank you. That is kind of you to say. Okay, I think we're ready to bust out the old bronze here. Mostly it comes down to, when I say people crap on what I find interesting, it's more just boils down to like the why is this cool section. You know, I mean that's my favorite part of the video, but I mean, that's just part of the section, right? When I ask the question, why is this cool? There's a million different things for a million different people as to why they are drawn to one faction or another, no matter the game system, right? That's a pretty relatable thing. See, this is, man, just one tiny bit of Runelord brass. You just add just a dash of water. Just multiplies. And it still covers great. Just changed my hobby blade and forgot how good a fresh blade feels. Dude, right? So good. Unreasonably good. Your video yesterday made me want to make a lazy orcs army. Oh, yeah, from the Cruel Boy sub-faction. Yes. Took me a second to remember what video I published yesterday. I tend, well, when I can, I tend to make them in advance and then schedule them out. I don't really like releasing stuff the day I make it, just because it puts a lot of pressure to like do something every single day. It's like, nah, sometimes my brain just needs a break, so I'd rather just, you know, crank 3 or 4 here and then schedule them out. Was looking at Dungeon Bull and thought, cursed city tiles? I don't know. I haven't even looked at it. The idea, it seems like something I would like, because I like the core concept of Blood Bowl. Certainly the wacky and ridiculous nature of how things happen appeals to me. And the idea of mixing factions together for the purposes of the college idea. Like I love that. So I'm super into a lot of it, but it's one of those things, like I mentioned before, I was holding off until my local Blood Bowl scene picks it up, and they seem like such competitive gamers. I don't know if any of them are going to actually be interested in playing that. And when I say competitive, I don't mean like cutthroat and all that kind of stuff. I just mean they like the perceived balance of the game, which to me is like does not apply to Games Workshop games. They don't come here if you want balance, but whatever, to each their own. You can see my Star Drake in the hobby on Discord. Okay, cool. I will check that out. Did you just post it there now? Let's see. Where is it at? Hey! Here we go. So I'll take a look at Spezia Storm Drake. First of all, fantastic job on the scales in particular. I love the way he did the scales. So nice. She's a beaut. So let's all give Spezia a little golf clap. Let's see. I'm working on my own Dweghome army lore. Does it make sense to have an Ardent Karawa and a Tempered Wizard to be brothers? Yeah, I don't see why not. I can't remember a single thing from their lore that would certainly not prevent it, because fundamentally they're just different opinions. When it comes down to it, people disagree on how best to proceed as a people, as you will all in America learn this Thursday, tomorrow, during Thanksgiving, when you have that one relative who's like, let's talk politics, and everyone else is like, no. Don't do it, Uncle Craig. I don't have an Uncle Craig, that's why I chose that name. And just picking out, doing a little spot picking of a couple different cogs and stuff. It's steampunk, so there has to be like at least a minimum of like 13 absolutely useless cogs. Let's see. One faction likes wet pallets, the other doesn't. It tears families apart. Yes, it's exactly. Yep, that's exactly the arguments that are had at my Thanksgiving table. Where did you learn to use a wet pallet? I learned it from you, Dad. Let's see. Living vicariously through you. Wish I could be painting, but I'm stuck at work right now. Oh, bummer, dude. Sorry about that. Didn't want to do too much with this one. We're definitely going to make the brass pop a bit more when it's all washed and done. I'm just blocking out basic colors at this point. Nothing fancy. So him, we're gonna pause because the next thing to do is paint up the driver. This guy is ready for our wash. Now, the other Garamus I have here, I did more of my traditional method with my brown wash and that kind of stuff, but we're gonna try this other one with the AK interactive thing. See how different it can look. Once it's all done, of course. So Doug, with Atmos pushing STLs, are you on the 3D printing train yet? Do you own a printer? No, I don't. I don't. And part of it is within the next month, we're going to, there's basically a print on demand drop ship type service that we're going to partner with. So for folks like me who, my biggest thing is space. I don't have the space for a 3D printer. It wasn't something I was thinking about when we looked for a place. It might be the next one. I don't know. But because of that, I do not have a 3D printer. These were printed for me and sent over. But yeah, so people without them will be able to get their hands on them. For me, I just... You know what I don't need? Another sub-hobby within the hobby. And I feel like 3D printing, it is its own jam. Like, you have to figure stuff out, be able to diagnose problems when they come up, and that kind of thing. And it's just, I don't know. I'm already scared of touching my camera. I don't need any more expensive stuff that I'm worried about breaking constantly. But as a company, which is different than Doug, yes. Yeah, it's going to be very accessible for people with 3D printers to hop on STL thing. And that, honestly, part of that is also just fundraising so that we can get more designs made and that kind of stuff for new models, new units, expansions, all that kind of stuff. I'll tell you what, we'll get his war suit that way. Tips from a streaking grime user: go heavy. Oh yes. Yes. Very, very heavy. Yeah, here y'all keep an eye out for print on demand. Yeah. You think dabbing's better than painting on? Let's try it. Try not to get too much of the actual driver. Because I do want to do my traditional thing on him, just to have him specifically match the rest of the dude man bros I've already painted. But I don't care if the suit's a little bit, you know, if it's colored in a little bit differently, because I haven't painted one of these before. Or when you say dab the grime off, okay, you mean like when I'm removing it, not when I'm necessarily applying it. Okay, I got you. There we go. Set my alarm. And start. So now we're all going to do the thing that I love to do whenever I'm waiting for this stuff to get done, and that is playing some Star Wars Battlefront. Give me just a second. We're still going to be chilling and hanging out. I'm just having a good time. I got a pretty slow day. I did a lore video for Legacy of Atmos. That was really my biggest to-do for the day. So we're trying to basically have one of those go out every what? Give me a second here. It's gonna look for the game, which should boot up in just a minute. And because my computer is sometimes a bit wonky, it might take just a hot second. It's not that my computer is wonky. Sometimes the internet just acts strange. Sometimes Battlefront will be like, hey, by the way, you're not connected to anything. And you're like, wait, what? How am I playing online then? And you're like, I don't know. Okay. And this truly is, I'm not going to lie, my favorite way to burn that 10, 15 minutes of when I'm waiting for that stuff to dry. It's just, I don't know. I've never been a shooting game guy, but there's just something, like, I remember the old Star Wars Battlefronts. Number 1 was great. Number 2 was my favorite, but it did lose a little bit. I mean, number 1 was awesome because you could hop into some of the ships that were above in the sky and actually interact with the ground, whereas they have whole separate game modes for being on ground versus that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it was different, but I understand the changes. Vincey, I have 40 dire wolves to paint, and I'm giving myself the deadline of before my GW order arrives. So I have roughly 12 months. Yeah, you do. Now, I can be pretty good at this game, but I'm pretty sure just because I'm streaming, it'll all come terribly for me. You know what? I probably should have turned off the music so I could save some bandwidth. I've recently started in the hobby. I've got 4 Bloodthirsters to paint currently, just trying to take in how awesome they are before I ruin them. Oh, sorry, I was reading. That's okay. Man. I got into AOS through printing. If you need help, let me know. Okay, I will do that. Let me turn off some of these things here. Oh, gotta open my chat back up. Interesting. Man, yeah, those Bloodthirster models are just... They're so sexy. I remember when they came out, that was the closest I had ever... Oh, oh no, I'm having internet problems now. Why? It's probably because I keep tuning out to work on stuff and read. Oh man. I never did like these missions like this when you have 3 command posts to watch. It's always better with 2. So Gator, let me ask you, what kind of stuff do you print? Like what army do you have that you print that much of? Because, you know, my biggest thing is I know that there are a lot of fantastically well done things that you can 3D print, but man, for every one of those, there are 1,000 that just look not great. I'm going to say not great because they might be perfect for like, you know, D&D or something like that. But when you're talking about like, oh yeah, this is my replacement for Games Workshop stuff. And it's just like, no, it's not. You ever seen that? I mean, you know, like I said, for every fantastic 3D printed model, and many of which show our hobby, so I'm not like poo-pooing the act of 3D printing, but my goodness, there are some that you're like, is that really, you know? Oh yeah, I play Sons of Behemoth because I can just 3D print these giants, and you're like, is that a model you want to play with though? Was that fun to paint? I've never been particularly good at streaming or chatting, I should say, and controlling the chat. I hate the teddy bears. The teddy bears must die. Oh god. I've got a hobby adjacent question for you. Do you feel... Oh, sorry. Getting shot in the head. Give me 1 second. Do you feel that taking your hobby to YouTube advanced or your experience or added more barriers to get past to actually hobbying? That is an interesting question. I don't have a solid answer for you. What I have noticed is that, do I feel that way? No, I don't feel like it has made it harder to actually hobby, but that's because I am very attentive to what brings me joy. Like, I will, you know, some things I'll paint for the stream. Like I was painting my Call to Arms stuff earlier, and then I switched to Legacy of Atmos. But then sometimes I paint stuff just for me, and I don't show it, I don't stream it. It is 100% for me. And I love those moments. They mean quite a bit to me. I don't really know where this leads, but we're going to learn. Seems very remote. But yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the biggest thing is like when I hear people, like I have gotten burnt out before and I've needed breaks, and I've taken them, and everyone's been super cool whenever I have to. But, you know, it's just a matter of you just got to do stuff for you sometimes. You know, specifically when it's a hobby. I understand sometimes it's, you know, you got to talk about things because it's a business. end of stuff, and that is true, but there is always going to be those points where it's like, usually my hobby streams are reserved for stuff that just kind of brings me joy. Oh, man. I wonder if all my my allies in this mission are also, you know, just trying to chat and are bad at chatting and gaming at the same time like I am. Oh, wow. That is quite the smoke bomb. Would you say this one sparks joy? You know, I mean, I was going to make a Marie Kondo joke, but that is exactly how it is. Because I learned very early on in my hobby career, like, I am not a commission painter. I am just not. Because if I don't actively want to paint something, this is the most miserable hobby to exist. Like, you know what I mean? Specifically when I don't want to paint something. If it's like, you know, I have to paint this for an event or something, that's totally different. But on the whole, oh man. I'm not doing too bad. Who are you? Lando. Kill Lando. Woo, I'm doing good. Y'all are my good luck charms, man. I don't usually do so well with the Enforcer. Normally my thing is the Officer. I really love being the Officer in cooperative play. But yeah, I've learned that pretty early on about myself when it comes to the wargaming hobby. Is like, if I'm into something, I love it. If there's even just the slightest bit of like hesitation on a project, it is the most miserable experience ever. And it's hard because like you'll get people who are like, well, he's only ever positive. He must be faking or lying. It's like, no, man. It's because I only talk about things that I like, because everything else sucks the life out of me. Which is just, you know, I understand both sides of it, but it's like, dadgum. Oh, what are you? Oh, you're not Chewbacca. Okay. Chewbacca's terrifying in this game. Can we just say that? Oh, they're over here. Once that Vader character gets over here, these guys are hosed. Whoever, I mean, I'll be honest, in this game, I have always been terrible at lightsaber users. Oh, speaking of. Oh, I don't stand a chance. Yep. Fair enough. Sometimes you just gotta say, fair enough. And play as Bosk, because he is... If you could have an avatar for the word baller, it would be Bosk. Doesn't use any kind of weapon that can be deflected by a lightsaber. Oh god, but it can get tackled by a wayward Han Solo. Ah, he got me. Doug, currently painting Free Guild handgunners. Awesome, dude. I am currently waiting for some stuff to dry. Oh no, they did push us back. Shoot. Thanks for the insight. I definitely feel that. I've been working on trying to start a YouTube business. Sorry, not meaning to shameless plug, and I'm finding filming feels like a barrier. You know, honestly, one of the things that I had to learn, and my incredible wife was really the first one to kind of lay this out there for me, just for some real talk, you know, while we're shooting rebels, like you do, was this idea of depression is not just being sad. Sometimes it also can manifest as distraction or the inability to focus and things like that. Crap, it's Yoda. Yoda's the worst. And that's always been a problem for me. And so, like, I was working with a therapist because I was just really struggling to focus and be productive and that kind of stuff. And it was a huge contributing factor, to be honest. And so, you know, mental health does matter. And that's part of why doing things just for yourself, just because this sounds cool. The other day I painted an Infinity model. I have no intention of playing Infinity, but it looked cool. Hey, why not? Oh, there's our timer. We got 3 minutes left in this sucker. Once this is done, we'll go take care of those models with the enamel stuff on them. Oh crap! They took out Vader. This PC has teeth. Is there a character that killed him, or he just got taken out by the teddy bear? That's embarrassing for him. I might be terrible at this game, but I'm embarrassed for him. I often love to do that with people who are super competitive, where it's like I might get dumpstered in the first 3 rounds of a 5-round event, but the minute somebody who is like actually good at the game tries to do something and fails, I'm like, man, how embarrassing for you. You gotta be kidding me. Is another Luke coming this way? Boingrot Bounders are my mental health model. That's a fantastic model for that, to be honest. Let's go heavy. Because, like, anything Gloomspite gets where it's like, man, really glad I wasn't hoping to use this in a competitive sense. Let's clear him off. Oh, they're all behind me. That's why I wasn't seeing any enemies. I was like, huh. This war is going swimmingly. Ah, it's okay. I got a few of them with me. Only dire wolves. The one class in this game I have never done well with is the sniper one. Thanks, Doug. I appreciate the real talk and sincerity. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Always happy to. And, you know, it's the same advice I give to anyone who wants to do a YouTube channel is just talk about things that make you happy. And I know not every channel does that, and so it might seem like superfluous advice. You know, it doesn't have a lot of substance to it just because, well, you know, XYZ channel, all they do is crap all over Games Workshop, and they're doing great. It's like, I understand that, but it takes a very certain kind of person to be able to do that. And I would argue the average person is not of that ilk to be able to spew hatred and distaste all day and not hate their lives. That is a personality type, and I am not that. But, you know, you also have to have grace for people who perceive that in a negative light, because I get it. Oh, crap. Is that Chewbacca? No. Okay, thank God. No, don't let Leia get in there. She's going to put her shield up and we're all dead. Okay. Woo! Now, without any change whatsoever, we're going to go back to our grind, guys. Let me just X out of the game part here. Hey, I came in first that one. My quote of the day shall be, crap, is that Chewbacca? Now, I was told... Yeah, I never liked this thing. I was told to use fabrics, but I like these little makeup brushes. Ironic, Doug hates the teddy bears in-game, but is one outside of it. That is absolutely true. This guy, unfortunately, he's not going to have a ton of detail, just because he is, well, because the most of the base color is brown. Like, he's not going to pop as if he was painted with color, of course. That's what I'm trying to say. But essentially, yeah, it's like an enamel type wash, and as you brush it away, the glory of what you've done begins to reveal itself. Battletech. I don't know. You're the second person to just put Battletech with a question mark. Is there something I'm missing? Are you asking if this is for Battletech? The answer is no. No, this is actually for my game, Legacy of Atmos. I'm going to come back with mineral spirits on that guy for some of the higher parts of the metal, but let's get this guy rocking and rolling at some point. The robot. Yeah. Yep. Sorry, I mean, it's funny because the only reason I clarify is because there's been a lot of talk about Battletech locally. A lot of guys are interested in getting into it. I think on Saturday, a few are going to be playing, and so I was going to go, if I had time, swoop in and check it out. I know it's been around for a while. I know the property has had a rather sordid past in terms of who owns the IP and stuff like that, but you know, the nostalgia factor is at an 11 for some folks, it seems. How long has Battletech been around? Like, you're talking to someone who just doesn't know a thing about it. I know there's big robots. That's all I got. And I've been told everything from it's the best thing since sliced bread, it's an outdated game, and Titanicus just did it better. You know, lots of stuff. Because everyone has their little pet pet favorites. That's how this hobby goes. I'd say it turned out pretty well. Let me get my little Spirit de Mineral. Boom, take my crap brush. More than I would need, for sure. And so now we're just picking out the highest parts. Parts we want to restore a lot of color to. Really just the upward facing parts. Okay. Battlements. Battletech 4MX versus 4MX takes 2 hours. Whoa. But when you play Battletech, is it mostly a campaign game? Like, are you trying to upkeep your mechs and customize them, or is it like a war game where you kind of build your list ahead of time and that kind of stuff in a more traditional sense? I suppose that's the part I'm a little vague on. It's kind of how I feel about like Necromunda. Like, yeah, you can call it a skirmish game, and that's not untrue in any stretch. There's also a lot more going on than just like, you make a list, you roll up to your table and that kind of thing. Vinci says, I kind of want the Soulblight Battle Force. It's just super unfortunate. It's 40 zombies and 20 skeletons. Most things in life would be better with 40 doggos. I don't think I've ever seen anyone play Soulblight as anything other than Virkos, which is not a complaint. They're very cool. I'm just not a huge fan of when one sub-faction seems to kind of, Soulblight is not Virkos and vice versa, like in terms of like the percentage of the field. Same thing happened with Flesh Eater Courts, right? People are complaining about, oh, the balance of Flesh Eater Courts is terrible. It's like, no, the balance of Gristlegore was terrible, right? Like, that's not the same. The book as a whole had, from that point of view, had terrible internal balance, meaning there was one super obvious good thing amongst the rest, which of course was Gristlegore, and that's fine to say, but to say like, Flesh Eater Courts are sweeping the nation tournaments, like, no, Gristlegore is. Virkos is mathematically correct Soulblight. That I guess that's, yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. Where like one, and that's not disparaging anyone from playing them. They are my personal favorite. I think they're the coolest looking. Belladama is one of the coolest models ever. There's a lot of great stuff there. But that is as far as I pretty much ever go when it comes to talking like game balance, where it's like, probably if you make 3 or 4 sub-factions, some books have more, some have less. I think the Stormcast one has up to 8 now. It's like, you probably should see more than just a handful of some of those on the table. All right, as far as shading goes, these guys look great. Now it needs time to dry because it'll soften a bit. And then we'll go back and pick out the woods and the metal and that kind of stuff. So I'm excited about that. How's our bases looking from where we started? Still totally sopping wet. Okay. Well, at this point, I don't have much to paint because everything needs to dry. So I will ask the chat, do you want to hang out and keep chatting? And I'll boot back up Star Wars, or if you just want to stick to miniature stuff, I can go ahead and turn it off for the day. I will leave the decision up to you guys. You let me know what you would like. So right now, yeah, the enamel stuff, it takes like 30 minutes to dry. So it is what it is. Keep hanging out? Okay, cool. Well, hey, Viridian Forge, man, if you're I'm sorry, I don't know if you're a male or female. That's just my general how I approach people. I'll say comrade to be gender neutral. If you have questions about YouTube and stuff, feel free to ask. Probably doesn't look the best to be answering those questions while I fail at streaming video game stuff. But it is what it is. Keep hanging. All right. Bunch of votes for keep hanging. And hang we shall. Burp. Meow. For me, when I'm doing other things like, just chilling and chatting with people, I always do co-op because I don't know. I've never been someone like Call of Duty type things. I've never been someone who likes playing against other people. I would much rather play co-op. And Comrade is perfect. Mr. Molly Malal. I'm on a quest for... Actually, you know what? I'm going to cancel this and try again because... Oh, there it goes. Is it going to work? Okay. Sometimes when I minimize the screen and it's searching, it kind of gets stuck. All the non-GW games have to offer. Honestly, that is what I have been doing this spring. And that's why I got into Conquest and the Elder Scrolls Call to Arms. And what was another one? I feel like there's more rabbit holes I've fallen down. Those are the big ones, to be honest. Those are the ones I'm sticking with just because I like them. How about that? I think that sounds fair. Let's switch his gun up. As much as I love the hand cannon. Oh. Did you not let me switch? Yeah, you sold me on trying Conquest. Oh, good. I'm glad. I hope you enjoy it. It's yes, I'm still reading the chat. I'm just chilling at this point, but I have the chat in a big tab next to me. What's going on with my internet? No, it's fine. Yeah, those are the main ones I've tried outside of Games Workshop games. The reason I love the Modiphius games is I love the way that their company supports their products. So, for example, if you go right now and you buy the Call to Arms box and 2 factions, okay, because the core box just comes with the rules and all the cards you need to play, like as far as items and stuff goes. You have to buy all the actual models separately. And so some people look at that and they're like, well, that's crappy. But the truth is it allows you to kind of custom create the perfect starter for you, depending on what you want to play. And I love that. Furthermore, they have like, so, I mean, for real, if you want to like see how companies could support their products, go check out Modifius' site when it comes to Fallout, Wasteland Warfare, or Call to Arms, because for real, like, there's so much free stuff. They have entire card packs, which, you know, in the context of their game specifically, represents hundreds of hours of development time of testing and play testing and all that kind of stuff. And it's all for free. It's a free way. You can just hop on there. You can print those cards out yourself, kind of come up with your own way of, you know, sleeving them. If you get like the hard plastic sleeves, it shouldn't be a problem. And you'll be all set. And you can do hundreds of hours of gameplay just based on that. And it's just like, dang. At this point, because there are 3 positions to capture, we know we're not going to push these boys back. So we're just trying to earn as many points as possible. Hey, Doug and chat. I like how they email updated rules when you buy the starter set. Absolutely, yeah. There's so many different ways, you know, even when you talk about wargaming as a whole, you have some companies that, you know, Games Workshop, I love Games Workshop. There are some wonderful people who work there. But as a corporate structure, their business practices are very much still a relic of the past. They don't utilize a lot of the, you know, digital means that we have to update games, to keep people interested in them and support their products and communities, as opposed to some other games where they quite frankly just do a much better job of that, using technology. I think Parabellum is probably one of the best out there. But yeah. Another set of games that I like conceptually. What is it? So Crisis Protocol and what's the other one they do? Oh yeah, the Star Wars Legion. There are some really cool things there. I know they just kind of reorganized, Asmodee reorganized their company so that the property kind of changed hands a little bit internally. It's all internal, like they didn't switch companies, as dramatic as that sounds. But yeah. Okay, wait, I got distracted reading this comment. I need to know the base sizes for the new dragons, Jaundice and Cornbread. I love it. Leia. Leia is my absolute favorite rebel hero. And hopefully I don't just get punked immediately so I can actually show you why. Come on. I did it before. Ah, well. Let's see. Jaundice and Cornbread, I like that. If you give me just a moment, I can go check. You should be able to, if you go to the product page on the GW site, if you scroll down to its description, it always has the base size listed there of what they come with. Whether or not, you know, I mean, some of the older models, I wouldn't necessarily trust it, like the old models from the 90s. Wouldn't necessarily trust that that is the correct base size, but it always says it at the bottom there. Thanks for the shout out in the Holy Havoc video. What are you planning to go to more Havoc events? Yeah, tell me who you are in IRL. But I'm absolutely intending to go to more. I've already talked to Steve about helping out with the Holy Wars, which is the one player thing. Sorry, I got distracted thinking about this. So yeah, I'm gonna help out with that one, I think, as a volunteer, because I'll be honest, 5-round events, that was my first 5-game thing. It was exhausting. Like, I mean, just like mental fatigue, you know. By the second day, you know, my partner Jack was awesome about, like, I was like, dude, I'm really struggling. Like, I have this thing where I have great hearing, but I have something's wrong with my ability to, like, discern sound. So I have to try and focus real hard to hear what people are saying, you know, because all the noise is just at the same level and it's a room full of people. And so I really struggle with that. And so it just got to the point where I was like, oh my God, I can't hear a thing. I'm trying to, like, look up my rules, and it's just very overwhelming. So, I want to participate because it is the kind of event that I love, but without a partner for a 5-round thing, I'm like, do I really want to do that? I don't know. But yes, I'm going to be participating for sure. Oh, Matthew with the Deepkin Army. Oh my gosh, dude, you are my favorite person. You have no idea. Like, hanging out with you guys round 1 was quite literally one of the coolest hobby experiences that I have ever had a chance to do. Absolutely cannot. 10 out of 10 would get wrecked at an event with you guys any day of the week. Oh crap, it's Vader. That's fair. I deserve that. Deepkin? Nice. No, I mean, F you, Mark. You should truly highly recommend going and checking out that video that I did, because I posted... What? He got me in my spawn zone. It is not just a Deepkin army. Oh, jeez. Let me hide back here and heal for a hot sec. It is, everything was custom done, and it was incredible. It's a death-themed... Oh, man, they just rocked our world this game. Die! Yeah, we're super dead. Yeah, it's, so, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me, Daylight Express. It was Morphon-themed Deepkin. So it was all death-themed, because it's all from Shyish. And it was just quite possibly the sexiest army that has ever graced a table. Where am I going? Definitely thought that was the right direction. But I kind of had that moment where it's like, the longer I go down this path, the more I question the decisions that have brought me here. Of course. Yeah, no, I mean, you should just check out the Leviathan that he did. This sucker looks like it just, like, got coughed out of, like, an ocean, I don't know, the depths. It was so cool. Oh, crap. They got Bosk, too. They have all the best bounty hunters. Of course. Also, this is supposed to be heat vision. I guess it makes sense because that's where the light is. I was like, why is the thickest patch of snow the brightest? Is that one of my guys? No. Probably one of my favorite things in this game is Rey has a Jedi power that reverses your keys. So like your literal controls reverse, and so it just makes this awkward moment where you're like, whoa. What do we got? Where'd all the bad guys go? Gotta be someone who needs some killing. Oh, they got me. That's okay. I've been doing all right. So Doug is cursed with superhuman hearing, and I'm cursed with the nutty sense of smell. Oh, man. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I got distracted. So to answer your question, yes, I do plan on doing holy events again. I had an absolute blast of a time. I think for me, 3 games is sort of my I'm going to call it the unofficial Doug limit of like, I had fun all 3 games, but I thoroughly enjoyed the first one simply because I was just more mentally there to enjoy them. And my opponents specifically, you know, for me, Warhammer has always been a social game rather than a social activity rather than a game. Like it's one of those things I always tell people. I'm very honest when it comes to Warhammer. Is like, if you're just looking for a game, there's way better games out there. Let's be honest. If you're looking for like a fun hobby and, you know, a game that creates weird situations where you just have to laugh, like, I don't know, an orc boss charging something or a shaman having that one ridiculous roll that saves his life. Like, that's what Warhammer's about to me. What's your opinion on Thrawn? I don't have one. I know tangentially who he is as a character, but I personally don't have a lot of dog in that fight. Come, walk into my killing field. I don't know what the hell's going on over there. I don't think they can even come from that way. But yes, Hand of Dust is peak AOS. Thank you. Yes. I think that there is a group of people who really could thoroughly enjoy the old RPG elements. Not even RPG. The in real life elements of AOS 1. Like when the game first launched, it came out with a whole bunch of like, if your beard is longer than your opponent's, you can do a special thing or whatever. Like some of those were super goofy and super dumb, and some of them I didn't like because people couldn't do them. But others were ridiculous, where it's just like play little fun mini games like Hand of Dust, right? Which hand is the dice in or whatever. That kind of stuff I'm here for, 100%. Oh man, they must have gotten Maul dead the second he killed me. We're doing pretty good. We got 2 or 3 heroes. Pretty sure I didn't kill a single thing with any of those shots. Okay. Feeling real good. I got big Han energy right now. Just, You know, in the movies, like he's always firing his gun, but he like rarely actually shoots anybody, except for, you know, Greedo. Don't touch it. What are we playing, y'all? We are playing some good, wholesome Star Wars Battlefront 2. Post EA giving up on making money from it. Boom, crushed it. FU Mark, clone army or droid army? If you're talking with Star Wars Legions, like the video game, the game, I tend personally to lean the clones. If you're talking like which ones do I like the most, I like the droids. I'm not gonna lie, I like a lot of their elements that they've done with the AIs and characters, and I think playing what is it, Republic Commandos, the video game, made me really appreciate droids quite a bit. Does GW have a D&D style rule set that kind of tabletop RPG in the AOS or old world settings? They actually have both, Mark. Look up a company called, oh my gosh, they're going to kill me if I can't remember their name. The game is called Soulbound, and they also have an old world version. Sorry, Doug, heard your answer, but I couldn't understand. Oh, sorry, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Yeah, their Soulbound is a Age of Sigmar role-playing game, and then I don't remember the name. Is it Old World? I can't remember. I've never played that one, but there is an Old World one that has a lot of accolades and support. People really like that one. So this is what, Agent Kloss. Do this. I wish we could choose who we play, as in I would only play as droids. Yeah. Yeah, Mark Wilson, Soulbound is a fantastic game. There is one aspect of it that I find a little bit strange is like whenever you play Soulbound, you play as a hero. And when I say hero, I mean like capital H, like Cubicle 7. Thank you so much, Stannis. I really do appreciate that. When you play as a hero of the Mortal Realms, the core book has a bunch of different archetypes to play as. And you do have some customization with your abilities and skills and stuff like that. For example, I was an Excelsior War Priest with a pet doggo at the end. He was super cool. I tried to make him be like a face character, so like doing lots of charisma and intimidation and that kind of stuff. It just didn't come up a ton in the games that we were playing. And so that's when I was like, okay, he needs a doggo so I can do something in a fight. But yeah. So I didn't enjoy him specifically all that much as a character. I think the archetype has a lot of legs. It's just the way that I built him was not meant for much of anything. He was a thoughts and prayers kind of war priest rather than being a man of action. Also, one thing that was super funny with that war priest was like, so me and the GM, we knew a lot about Warhammer. There's actually Biofoot in the chat here. He had to tune out for a bit and go back to work, but so we knew a lot about AOS, but the other people in the group didn't, and it made it really funny because at one point the GM like gives us a whole bunch of random clues that are pointing in different directions, and we're like, what in the ever-loving hell is, like, what's this campaign about? And it came out that like those were all just misdirections, and actually it was a cult of Tzeentch that was trying to throw us off their trail. And once Tzeentch was introduced to the mix, because I know who Tzeentch is and I understand what a Tzeentchian cult can do, I was like, we don't trust anybody. Everyone's a liar. Burn everything. we're gonna root this problem out. And all the other people were like, why is he acting like this? Like, what are you talking about? And I was just like, nope, don't trust anything. So that was a bit of fun. A little bit of dissonance there on the part of the rest of our party. They were like, I don't understand what the problem is. Is Tzeentch a bad thing? Like, should we be afraid? Like, yes. Not necessarily afraid. You just shouldn't trust anything. I gotta shoot through a tree. Lame. And so it became hard where it's like, okay, well, where does Doug's knowledge of Tzeentch end and the War Priest begin? And luckily the GM was very, very gracious, knowing that I was one of the few people who understood the threat at hand. He was like, okay, so War Priest totally knows about Tzeentch. I'm like, thank you. Where am I? Did I just back myself into the derpiest corner? Sure did. Oh, we gotta... Shot a missile at Kylo Ren's face. Eat it, emo boy. Come on, blow up. How many shots can these things take? There we go. My goodness, that took a while. Okay. Is there a soulbound for chaos yet? Not that I know of. There is death and... So, for the person who was asking about it in general, the core book comes with a whole bunch of order characters, and there is a supplement that adds more order characters. And then they added death and destruction ones. To my knowledge, there is no chaos one, because, I mean, generally speaking, the chaos is what you're trying to stop, so... I just want to have a salon so I can have a character reason to ribbit. You can, I mean, skinks ribbit, right? Don't they? I think you can be a skink. Uh-oh, we got a character coming. Trying to back up so I can offer at least a little support over there. I legitimately don't see who's shooting at me. Okay, here he is. It's like at my feet. I was like, I kept staring at the fight. I was like... Oh, I'm really glad they have a good lightsaber user over there. I'm terrible at the lightsaber. There's a custom class maker too. Yeah. Get out of my zone. Oh my gosh, I hate the flamethrower, guys. So much. This is the best I've ever done in a vehicle, by the way. This might look really boring on the chat. I'm sorry if it does. But, like, I die so fast. Normally. Because normally it just makes you the biggest target. But in this case, they got to crest the hill at some point, and so... If I can be a troglodyte per cleaner, I'll be happy. I know you can... Someone correct me. I know you can be a skink, right? Am I just making that up? I thought you could. Let them win. Okay. Let's see if we can take this sucker on the road. Yes. Sorry, Doug. You seem to have YOLO'd way too hard. Okay, we're letting him have the blue one. We can still shoot stuff and earn some points. Skink stats are just all just ones. No, I'm thinking of the Skink Star Seer. I remember how to hop out of this thing. There we go. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think one of the expansions they added, yeah, I think Skink Star Priest, Starseer, or something like that. Oh, where's the flamethrower guy? I hate those guys. Oh, they got him. Okay. Yes, I would love it if the skink stats were just 1. That'd be amazing. What do you bring to the team? I'm a meat shield, you could say. Oh, crap. We gotta go to the other place. Doug, I love that you laugh at the games you love. Most people in my shop wouldn't goof about their very serious games they're into. Oh, my God. Yeah, I know the kind of person you're talking about, and you gotta have a sense of humor with it all. You gotta.